Hey folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. If you don't know who I am, that's fine. I just saw this movie, Gran Turismo. I saw it about 3 weeks ahead of everyone else. I feel so empowered. Now I can ruin everything with my spoilers. But first of all, should you see the movie, should you not? Yes, you should. And I think you should see this movie in the highest quality theater in your neighborhood, or if you have to travel a little bit, find a theater with, if they have something called D-Box, Cinemark has this thing, it's D-Box. The seat shakes with your film. As you're watching the movie, the seat shakes. So a Cinemark has these things. If you've seen D-Box advertised but weren't sure what it was, it's a pretty cool experience. It does cost a few more bucks. I think it's worth it. Cinemark has been doing this thing on Tuesday nights, like $6 for a movie sometimes. In any event, what about other theaters? AMC's got great screens. Regal Cinema is where I saw the movie tonight here in Jacksonville, Florida. Regal, they are improving some of their auditoriums. I'm going to be very honest with you. Regal's kind of a half step or a step behind some of the other theater franchises. No offense, Regal. They do have a great monthly deal. You get the movies for like $19 a month for basically all the movies you want. So if you do have a Regal Cinema in your town, maybe it's a little bit higher tech than the one we've got here. The one we've got here is nice. They're trying. But to be honest, it's not the very best sound. And, what can I say? I'm just being honest. But I still had a great time. This was one of these $5 preview deals, mystery movies on Monday nights during the summer. You can see a movie on a Monday night, but you don't know what you're going to go see. And you pay your money and then you're stuck. But tonight was a good one, Gran Turismo. The theater everyone seemed to enjoy it. There wasn't a ton of people there, but there was a good amount of people there. And I had seen the preview for this thing several times, so you might be wondering, well, gee whiz, Mike, you just fucking advertised everything in the goddamn world. What's this movie all about? Well, apparently this is a real thing. I don't know. I don't fucking follow gaming. I don't fucking follow racetrack racing or whatever the fuck. But basically, apparently this is a real story. This guy, oh God, I want to get his name right. Jan, not McFarlane, but McDonough or something. Jan, I guess he was basically a fucking player of Gran Turismo, the video game, the PlayStation game. I guess PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, whenever this thing came out, PlayStation 4. And they didn't really give a whole lot of dates in this movie, like chronological dates, but this kid was an expert player. His father was kind of disappointed because he wanted his son to be a jock like himself, like a soccer player or a football player, as they say over there, and his older brother. So this kid was kind of like just a gamer, sat in his room all day playing this Gran Turismo game. But he really did want to be a real racer. You know, when I say real, I mean like an actual vehicle, right? But, his mom, kind of interesting, like he comes from a biracial family, which it's kind of nice these days that now you can have like biracial characters and it's not even like a part of the story. Back in my day, when I was a kid, like if you had a biracial character or an interracial relationship in a movie, that was the whole fucking movie. Like that was the fucking movie. That was the story. These days, we've evolved, as the kids say, and you don't even have to mention it. And I don't think they do. I don't think there's any like pat, scene of, oh, mom's a white Karen and dad's a militant black guy. There was no shit like that. So top of the morning to you filmmakers. Really the conflict here is the divide between the snotty, aristocratic, asshole establishment racers and the gamers. The guys that are coming in from this GT Academy, Gran Turismo Academy. I'm really a novice of this shit. I mean, I played fucking RC Pro-Am on the 8-bit, if you know that. It was actually pretty fun, and I was pretty damn good at it. I didn't expect to get a fucking racing contract because I could make my little green fucking RC Pro-Am truck go kapoom with the fucking, remember those fucking, those little bombs and missiles and shit in that game? But anyway, I'm sure this Gran Turismo game's an awesome game. I've never played it. They do, I'm smart enough to fill in the gaps. They basically kind of simulate playing the game in the movie so that you can see how this guy's mind works when he's playing the game, he feels like he's racing a real car, and when he's racing a real car, he feels like he's playing the game. And the movie did, see, I got it, I understood. And so the movie did some interesting things with the graphics and kind of like, you know, helping you to follow this whole thing. I mean, that's one thing about, I have been to something, a couple of real races, Atlanta Coca-Cola 600 years ago, and in Seekonk, Massachusetts, they used to have this kind of local Seekonk Speedway, which is fun. So I have experience as a fan, a spectator, the excitement of this stuff, and it really is one of these sports that's usually better in person than on TV. Although the TVs are getting so big now. This would, you know what, this race car driving stuff, it would actually be pretty good in the movie theater. Like they show the UFC, the MMA, and the boxing and the wrestling in the movie theaters that I've often gone to, and I often still go to. What if they did that with the race car racing? Would be good. I think it might be they should be paying me for these ideas. But anyway, the movie was fun. I enjoyed it, and what I liked about the movie was that there was an actual storyline here. The story of the outsider, like the caste system, the kid trying to come up. He's on the come up. The coach was kind of like the Mickey from Rocky Balboa, and the father's approval. There is a little bit of a romance. I mean, the romance really didn't have much to it. It's basically like, okay, you have to be successful and have this money, and now you can fly the girl in, and the girl comes in, and she's obedient. I mean, we're obliging. There really was no interest in the love story. Like, it wasn't very interesting. It was just, oh, he's famous and rich, and he flies this chick in from the hometown, and he avoids any of the race rats, if you know what that means. Basically, the women of the night that give themselves to these guys, which I'm sure that they have that, as they do in most sports and in pro wrestling and rock and roll and so forth. So he has a nice girl. You know, a lot of the stuff in this movie is kind of, you know, pat, like stuff that you've seen in other movies. But there was some stuff that was unique. A spoiler, I'm gonna fucking spoil it. I didn't, and I guess this is, if you follow the real guy, you know this, but apparently there was this fucking tragic accident that he was involved in with his vehicle, and unfortunately a spectator lost their life. I'm hoping that, I mean, this sounds fucked up. I was gonna say, I'm hoping that this is not fictional, because that would be kind of lame if they just created that for the sake of the movie. I'm assuming that it actually happened, but maybe I'm wrong, because I have seen other movies, biopics as it were, including my friend Vinny Paz's Bleed for This, where they kind of manipulate some of the truth for dramatic effect. And I don't like that, because in biopics like the George Foreman biopic, I did a nice review of that here on One Mike Messier. I like a biopic that gives you the full story and makes the drama from within the reality, not contrives reality to make drama. Do you see what I'm saying? You can find the drama in anything if you work hard enough, but when you just manipulate and make up facts in what's supposed to be a biopic or based on true events, I don't like that. That being said, if you watch my Sound of Freedom review, you know that I also understand that sometimes you do have to kind of manipulate things. You have to abridge things. You have to combine characters in order to tell a fucking 2-hour movie. Now this thing, Gran Turismo, is actually about 2 hours and 24 minutes to be exact, but it went by really fast, so to speak, because the story's good, and you know the kid, the fucking guy that plays Jan does a good job. Another interesting stat, in fact, the real life Jan was his own stunt double in this movie. I did see a little interview with the actor who played Jan and Jan himself, and I kind of was like, man, why doesn't Jan just play himself? Why the fuck not? But I guess, I mean, the actor did a great job. I think one thing, just watching those two guys in the interview, the Jan guy is actually so kind of stoic and kind of like a cool customer. I don't know if he could express vulnerability, and even in his life, maybe he doesn't. Like, maybe he was just a very confident guy. I don't know if he was that way his whole life, but he is now. And I think the actor here did a nice job of, you know, expressing vulnerability and weakness at times, and lack of confidence and all that good horse shit, which makes his character a little bit more likable. So in that case, you want a professional actor to come in and act in your goddamn movie. I'm available, assholes, by the way. I am a fucking professional actor, so to speak, a goddamn screenwriter. So you can always hire fucking me, okay? So I thought the movie was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, the thing is, I see all these goddamn movies. I see all these movies all the time. But I probably will make a point to see this again in, no offense, but in the Cinemark XD. I'm sure it'll be there. I'm probably going to reserve my ticket well in advance, because I've learned that with this Oppenheimer, Barbie weekend, whatever the fuck, Sound of Freedom, suddenly everyone's going to the movies again. And of course, right when people are getting excited about movies, that's when we have a strike. So hopefully the goddamn strikes will be over soon. The producers will give us all this money, all these residuals. We can all go back to doing what we do best, which is entertain you fucks. So anyway, yeah, it's good. The movie's good. I'm trying to think what else. I like the guy that played the coach, and I didn't recognize him. Orlando Bloom, who like 20 years ago was like the hot, finger banging matinee idol for all the little women out there. But Orlando Bloom's in this thing. He kind of plays like, I don't know, the team coach or the liaison between PlayStation and Nissan. Interesting character. Kind of reminded me, if you've watched the morning show, of that producer character that's kind of a scumbag but kind of cool at the same time. So I like this movie, Gran Turismo. Would I say go see it? Yeah, I would go say see it. And I think that all the gamers out there, I mean, granted, this guy's like kind of a 1 in a million guy, but all the people out there who spend all their fucking hours, playing Madden or playing this or that, I guess you're empowered now. This is your victory circle. But I'm also kind of surprised that I never heard this story before this movie came out. Like I said, maybe my Twitter feed wasn't following this trend or whatever the fuck. I wasn't hashtag Gran Turismo, hashtag Jan, hashtag this. My hashtags were off. I was out of the mix. I'm not really sure, the Le Mans race was, I really didn't know much about this shit. I didn't know that Le Mans was a 24-hour race. And I'm wondering, is that because it just turns out to be about 24 hours? Or is it like the most amount of laps you can get in 24 hours? Or what the fuck? I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it's like there's just a fuck ton of laps in Le Mans, and you have a 3-person team instead of just one. And I guess I'm going to have to Google fuck myself into oblivion later and see if the things said in this movie were actually accurate, because now you got my curiosity. I guess I did like the movie a lot. I guess I would like to see a fucking just a straight out doc on this Jan fellow and his coach. I would watch that too. So I had an entertaining night at the movies. I'm drinking my Taco Bell. This is what I do, folks. This soda is going to kill you. The diet soda is not much better. In fact, some people say diet soda is worse. So you might be saying, well, gee whiz, Mike, what are you drinking there? A Sprite? No, I'm drinking soda fountain water, okay? Which apparently is supposed to be really good. That's it, folks. Mike Messier. You're here on One Mike Messier for all my Mike's instant movie reviews, my life rants. If you want to see my movies, you'd say, well, gee whiz, Mike, you're such a good critic. You'd probably make a great filmmaker. Well, go right the fuck over to One Man in the Camera Films and watch all my movies over there. And while you're fucking at it, you can go to One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan and subscribe over there for my pro wrestling rants, clips, and more. Ugh.